What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the FansToys Hunk, their version of Brawn. So I have changed up my review a little bit. I'm not going to be reviewing packaging anymore, but I love the artwork on the FansToys boxes. So I'm going to leave that in the background there just so you can take a look at that. Really nice artwork by Johannes Vinci, and his deviant art is linked in the description below. But let's take a look at this guy. He looks really good, and we'll do a quick 360. We'll put the G1 cartoon up there. Pretty nicely done. Here's the backpack. Not too obtrusive. You would expect a backpack on a character like this. He does have the wheel on the back. Pretty much painted throughout. There's really no parts that aren't painted other than the windshield and the tires. Everything else on here appears to have paint. So well done on that. Let's take a look at the face sculpt. Very nice face sculpt. You get that old man look from this guy. You know, he was kind of an old tough guy, and so this sort of fits his character. It looks really good. By the way, he does come mistransformed out of the package, so you do have to do a little bit of work. We'll just get his arms out of the way. If you lift up these panels, and actually it might help if you have a spudger handy, then you can move these legs in like this, and then you're going to fold this panel down, but you also need to get this little panel up. So that's where you might need a spudger. But get this one down all the way, so that just fits between his thighs, and then pull this back up. And that's why you need a spudger. You kind of need to hold this panel down and get this panel up at the same time. Okay, and now you can put the leg back down. Now you can plug this into there if you want to. All right, then you can do the same thing on the other side. All right, now that we have that out of the way, we can take a look at the accessories. So it does come with a little blaster here, and it's different than the usual, so I'm actually going to show you. It doesn't have the little tab where you have to finagle into the hand. You actually slide it into the slot, which I kind of like that better because it's easier. You don't have to open up the hand, you don't have to fiddle with it, it just goes right in. And it looks cool because it's got the little, you know, trigger guard there, which looks nice. It does come with this, which is really for vehicle mode, so it doesn't really attach here, or at least I didn't find a way to attach it, so we'll talk about that a bit later. And finally, you get an alternate face, a yelling face. Again, that same face sculpt, but yelling. It has 3 tabs on the back, so you just pop this off. The best way to do it is to push the head up, get a spudger, and pop it out. There he is with that alternate face, and that looks really nice on him. I like that a lot. I don't have the issue with it falling off. Pake for Life Reviews, he did a review on this. By the way, I'll link that at the end of this video. And he said his was falling. Mine seems to be okay. Now that we've got through the accessories, let's go through articulation. So the head is on a ball joint. It is painted up in there, so it is very tight, especially when you first get it. But you can head down to there, up to there, and then you can rotate it. You kind of need 2 fingers to do it. You got to push one way and pull the other way, but you can get it rotated all the way up to there, which is good. And then if you want a little extra, you can turn this panel here in the back. Not really meant for that, but you can turn it if you want to get a little bit more. So you got plenty of movement between the 2 of those. 2 ways to move the head. You got plenty of articulation there. The arm is on a rotation all the way around. It goes up to there. You can rotate at the bicep all the way around. Single jointed elbow gets you up to there. Rotation at the wrist. Single pinned knuckles. By the way, all painted, including the hands. There aren't that many figures from FansToys we've got that are painted hands. This is one of them. I think Sheridan had painted hands too, but usually they have that black, you know, standard hand that they have. So it's a little different on the mini bots that they've been doing. So here's where we get back to these hip skirts. So in order to open up this hip skirt, you got to unpeg that. Then you can open this up. Then you can get the leg all the way up to there. Okay, you don't have to do that. If you don't want to, you can leave that all pegged in and you get the leg up to there. You get a little bit less movement. That's okay. I don't mind that at all. You get back to there, a little bit of hindrance because you've got that panel inside, you know, inside his hip. So you've got to kind of, can't go straight back. You got to go a little bit out, but that's okay. You get a single jointed knee, but you get over 90 degrees, which is nice. And you get an ankle tilt that gets you out to there. No, I guess the ankle pivot, but no ankle tilt and no toe tilt. So just the tilt that way. Whoops. Yeah, I do find these feet are interesting. Ever since Peak said they look like turtle feet, they actually kind of do. They're pretty big. I mean, they're accurate for the character. I think they look good. They make sense for this character. But now that he's mentioned it, they do look like turtle feet. All right. So, oh, and I forgot the waist rotation, so you can get it all the way up to there, which is pretty nice. If you want to go a little further, you probably have to unpeg this backpack. So there's 2 pegs on the top, those little blue pegs, and then on the bottom, this peg right here goes into that slot there. So if you unpeg that, you can get it a little bit further, but then, you know, you can't really put this back, right, because it's hindered by the stuff that you moved into the way. So you could, for pictures, you could do that, but I don't really mind. I would just leave it the way it is. Okay. Get that peg back in. So all in all, pretty nice articulation on this guy. I like it. I'm not really wanting for anything more. It would have been nice if it was an ab crunch, but you can fake it with the thighs, so it's okay. All in all, pretty good articulation. So let's do some scale comparisons. So there he is with a few figures. So we've got our trusty Blue Streak, we've got Power Glide from DX9, and then we've got Optimus Prime. So right in line with the other mini-bots from other third-party figures. Shorter than the Autobot car, which is where they should be for mini-bots, but you know, about half the height. Comes up to about Optimus's hip here. So good size. It really makes sense to me. I think it's an appropriate size for this character. Let's get a quick height here. So he comes in at 5.5 inches, right to the top of his head, and weighs about 8 ounces, or for international people, 231 grams. So a pretty light guy, small, good size for a mini-bot. All right, now let's get this guy transformed. It's actually kind of a pretty interesting and fun transformation. It's a little bit challenging in some spots, but overall pretty good. You will need a spudger, so just keep one handy. There's a couple spots where you might need it. Okay, so let's get started. It's probably easiest to start on the legs. We'll just put the arms up for now, out of the way. First, get the backpack unpegged and just leave it back here and out of the way. That'll help you get some space. Okay, go ahead and open up this hip skirt and leave that there. Just angle the thigh outwards so you can get at this piece here, and that you want to pull that out. And go ahead and fold that flat. Same here. Unpeg the hip skirt. Fold out the thigh. Get this piece, fold it flat. And these things will tend to move on you, so just try to leave them as far back as you can so they're sitting flat. And that'll give you space to move. Push these hip skirts in so they sit flat on the inside. Same on this side. Push the hip skirt in, and again, you can see these are going to keep getting in your way, so try to keep them back if you can. They fight with you a little bit. All right, now you got that. We've got to get this whole thighs shifted backwards. You can see there's a hole there, so you're going to slot them back that way. It's pretty tough to get them moving. You kind of have to put a thumb here or a thumb on the back somewhere to get some leverage. That's the only way I've found, but you also don't want to get these pieces in the way, so it's a little bit tricky. There you go. So you slide them back like that, and they should slot into those holes on the back. So you see it's slid back now. All right, next we're going to get this whole leg piece moved up, and that takes a little bit of doing. So first you're going to rotate up, then you're going to rotate this, and now you can see underneath where this rotates this way. So you have to have that on the upper side. Obviously that exists on both sides. So you can either rotate this 180 or make sure it stays in place. Unfortunately it moves. So as you're rotating, you just got to check on the top. You know, do you have the joint facing upwards so you can fold up like this. So make sure you have the joint facing upward. That's all you really need to do, okay? So we're going to do one whole leg, and that'll help you guys kind of see how to do it. Go ahead and unpeg here. And that will free up that leg. Go ahead and unpeg these pieces here. These really are just for color, I think. It just gives you that white piece that they had in the cartoon. Interesting they went to that level to have that there. Go ahead, here, let's move this arm out of the way. Go ahead and open this up. There's a little panel right here, and here's where you might need a spudger just to pop this little tab there, okay? And then once you fold the leg down, you can put that back in. And that's going to fit right in that cavity right there. So go ahead and fold that in. You'll see it's going to sit like that. So for this part, just leave this right here for now, and we'll take care of that in a minute. So go ahead and do the same thing on this side. Now that we have them kind of folded up like this, we can get the arms out of the way. So go ahead and unpeg this here. And then you're going to rotate this golden piece. I do like the gold, honestly. It is die cast, obviously, so that's why they painted it gold instead of the usual chrome. And it does kind of blend into the back there. Okay, so go ahead and get that folded. And you're going to want to have the arms facing back like this. Okay, so same on this side. Unpeg, fold that piece down, and get the arm situated like this. And we'll just put that back in there. Okay, now that we have that, we can take care of these legs. So actually, let's get this all squared. So go ahead and pull here, and you should be able to get this entire piece out. So you got a big long piece like that. Okay. You should be able to get that all the way straight like this. So it bends right there. Then rotate it around and you can get this hood out. This is all painted, so you want to be careful with these parts so you're not scratching stuff up. Okay. And you can just leave that there for now. We'll deal with that in just a second. Actually, leave it this way because that's the way it's going to end up sitting. All right, so now open up these legs. And go ahead and push them inwards to close up those gaps in the middle. And then you're going to open up these little feet things here. So take off the foot, take off this piece, and fold that down. And you'll see there's a little slot right there. And this is going to peg into that. Nice and secure. Same on the front. So you're going to unpeg this foot, unpeg this part right here. And make sure you pull up on this, and that's going to give you that extra long piece here. And then you're going to slide it back in that way. Push that back in and tab that in. So that's one side done. You're going to do the same thing on the other side. So you should have something like this with the two sides of the vehicle done, and the top is still needs to be taken care of. Go ahead and rotate this piece, and that gets you the green part on the bottom, which is going to be accurate for the vehicle mode. We want to get this front piece out here. So that's going to be the grille of the car. And then you can open up these back windows here, or I guess not windows, but these back panels. And there is a little tab on the end of it, and that's going to fit right into the back of this. Okay. And then for the hood, you're going to snap that into place right here. There is a little slot for it to go in, and it should just peg right in. Okay. So now that you have this piece all together, now we can start getting it together. And you just got to make sure you have this folded up right. So you're going to push this piece down in, and it's going to accordion. This slider is going to slide down into the inside. Okay, so you do have to work your way around these yellow side pieces, unfortunately. They do get in the way a little bit, so you got to work your way into those. And if it doesn't go, then you just got to make sure you've cleared it. Unfortunately, there is some colliding, and I find myself trying to help it along. There you go. You can see it's all kind of come down. Okay, next you're going to get these tabs into here. There's a slot there. Go ahead and get that tabbed in. And if you haven't already pushed this together, it might have come back apart as you were manipulating things. Okay, both sides pegged in. And then on the front here, get these tabs right here pushed into the side of the front grill. So you have it like that. And that should all peg in like that. Okay? And then kind of the finishing touch is to fold up this bumper piece, which locks into here. Like that, and like that. And just give it a good squeeze. And if you haven't, again, these should be all pushed in. Sometimes they come out, but you got to push these side pieces together. And then the last thing here is this piece here. By the way, you just saw the gas can fell off. I'll put it back on. It's not a big issue. So go ahead and peg the back of the truck into these pegs right here. And that's just a little push to get those on. Okay, and then you've got this panel here that's going to fold underneath. Mine seems to have a little bit of clearance issue, but there you go. And we'll put the gas can back on. It does come off. You can see there's 3 pegs and 3 holes. And you can just peg that right back on there. Or if you don't like it, you can take it off. I prefer it. I like it. There you go. And there we have Hunk all transformed up into his vehicle mode. And really good looking vehicle. Let's get the G1 image up there. And I think they did a great job with this vehicle mode. Let's do a quick 360. You do have a little bit of leftover white pieces here, which is from his knee. Unfortunately, that just doesn't really go away. Really beautiful wheels. You've got that chrome wheels with the tires. It rolls very, very nicely on those wheels. You've got this wheel up here. It does spin. I mean, you can't, I don't think you can take it off. Yeah, I think it's pegged in there. There's the gas can that shows you that you can take that off. You've got these unpainted lights, but they're not really lights. They're actually the pegs for the feet, which is an interesting design. They reuse the pegs for the feet as the rear tail lights, which is cool. And on the side here, you got the translucent windows on the front and the sides, and then on the front you've got those headlights. Now in pictures this look kind of goofy. It actually look like a face, right? The eyes with the mouth here. In person, holding it in my hand, it does not. It looks like a vehicle. And then you do have painted headlights right here, and then you've got just a slot there. And again, those holes are actually part of the feet, which is really ingenious, right? Instead of, you know, they reuse the slot where these tabs go in to make it look like headlights. Just really nicely designed. And you got the clear translucent lights up here. Now, a lot of people say this is supposed to be a Land Rover. I looked it up, and I believe this is supposed to be a Suzuki Jimny, which is kind of like a Jeep, but not really. And, you know, I like the vehicle. This does not look like the Suzuki Jimny, honestly. It looks very different from the vehicle. If you look up that vehicle on Google, you can see it doesn't look like this. So it does look a lot more like a Land Rover, but he was never intended to be a Land Rover. All right, there you have it with some other vehicles. So here's the TE01B, the version of their Optimus, the Bumblebee MB21 Takara Tomy, and then you've got the FansToys Sheridan, their version of Warpath. So in terms of mini bots, these two scale really well together in vehicle mode. They just are perfect. It's, you know, in real life, this tank obviously should be a lot bigger, but because he's a mini bot, this fits perfectly for me. And he's bigger than the Bumblebee, you know, the actual Volkswagen Beetle, which makes a lot of sense to me just in terms of scale. He should be bigger. So really good size there on this vehicle mode. I think they did a great job scaling him to the rest of the vehicle. Before we get on the vehicle mode, let's just take a look at the accessories. So it does come with this drill. It's plastic and it's chrome. And you can just peg that right onto the front here. I believe it goes either direction. And that looks really nice. There he is with the drill that he used in that one episode for that one thing. And it looks good. You can also take the gun and it's got a little tab right there that goes in that slot. And so if you press that in there, then it fits on the bottom just like that. Actually, you can pretend like it's an exhaust or whatever, and it sits on the bottom, and that's fine. It rolls with all that stuff on there. So nice little accessories. You got the gas can, you got the gun, you got the drill, and then you got the wheel on the top. All in all, looks really nice. It does actually kind of look like a Land Rover, but I don't think it's intended to be. So final thoughts on this figure. I think they did a great job. By the way, I just wanted to show you can put this on his thumb. It's just barely fits around his thumb, but if you wanted to use it, you can. I'm just going to take that off. But really nice job. I love this figure. It poses well. It's fun. The transformation's fun. I like the colors. A lot of people say they don't like the colors. You know, he's got this olive sort of army green color, and he's got the I guess metallic-y yellow. And I think Paik was saying, you know, he's not a big fan of the colors. I like the colors a lot. The white and the green contrast really nicely, and then that shiny metal, that's very FansToys style to do yellow like that. So for me personally, I think it's great. I think some people, they've said the helmet is a little too light in hand. In person, it looks really good. I can see the contrast between the face and the helmet. By the way, this face did get loose when I was transforming it, and it actually fell off inside the vehicle. It didn't cause a problem, it just fell out when I started transforming it. But for whatever reason, the secondary face is a little bit loose, so those pegs on the back aren't quite as tight. It doesn't fall off, but it, as you're manipulating it could fall off. So all in all, highly recommend it. I don't have any other versions of Brawn, so I can't do a comparison here. I can't show you any others. All I can tell you is this one is really fun. I really like the design. I like both modes. I don't have a lot to complain about. The only thing I would complain about is these hip skirts here. In order to, you know, flip these hip skirts open, you have to actually open this one, and then you can flip this up, and that gives you that extra movement. But then it's kind of ugly. So, you know, I can imagine T-Man, when he reviews this, he's probably going to say, you know, you can't get the articulation you want without untransforming it a little bit. And that's, I agree, you know, but other than that, I have no complaints. I think this is a great figure. Maybe a little bit more ankle articulation, you know, so you can get a little bit further down. Might be nice, but even that, you know, he poses pretty well. So that's really it for this guy. Thanks for watching. I hope to have the Gigasaurs one. I had to put that on hold just because this guy came in, and I figured people are more excited to see this. So next up will be the Gigasaurs Grimlock. Anyways, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.